Luminant Luminaughts, a scary tale chasing its own. This is going to be a reading of a swift little scary story I've written in the genre one might find coming away from reading a tale written by an author such as Clive Barker. So, as a comforting precaution, you may care to flit fayire to your wickedries of Tallowax for the oncoming Talloween to Talloween. A cozy light to keep any creeping in through the dark, at bay perhaps, save if you're good, you're good. And now we begin. Siege Pelor had a lull in his days of monotony, sweeping up the popcorn and mopping up the spilled soda in between matinee shows at the local theater of the city of Township. During the lull, he had a very strange compulsion come over him to run what he figured sane people would judge him for as being a little over the line, that line drawn in the sands of time by a consensus upholding morality and virtue amidst various societal communities as a strange and questionably worthwhile experiment. Due to his lackluster social life, he decided to proceed in testing the theory his compulsion had grown in his mind. Like a cancer, he needed to get out and take its hypothesis on its course for a run. What he did to do this was this. He took a wooden chair he found in a dumpster outside the alley behind his high-rise apartment complex. He studied up on geometries and other archetypical symbologies that could be arranged within diagrams built inside circles. Various grimoires of half-madmen, and in some cases women, had created throughout the centuries. He'd gotten a tap line into being traded around between anonymously private pseudonym parties on the dark web. He'd become affiliated with over the years as an unsuspecting theater janitor, and he arranged one such circle of magical intent on the underside of the seat of the chair that he'd found in the dumpster. And this is the weird part. He penned the diagram using his own blood to ink it for a very diabolical reason. He'd then take the chair to a local city park and he'd hide behind a tree, waiting for someone to sit in it. And then, when they did, he would wait a while longer, growing more and more invigorated by watching what was happening to the person who decided to sit in the chair. He would wait like this until he could tell they were struggling to get up from the chair but could not. Then he'd wait a little bit more. And just before he could tell they were about to lose consciousness, he'd walk out from behind that tree with an otherrealmly confident stride and approach them, offering his hand to help them up. Many times they could barely lift their hand to greet his. Once he'd help them up, they'd usually thank him for the help, not knowing what had overtaken them, and stumble away in a somewhat bewildered state that ramped up in strength as fear of what had just happened to them spurred them away with a kind of unholy haste unfamiliar to them. It seems, according to this investigator of thaumaturgical psychometry, that Siege Pelor has gotten quite addicted to running his malignantly bent experimentations. So, moral of the story here is, if you come across a curiously inviting wooden chair resting on its own in a local park, you may, other than regret refraining from the temptation to take a seat by copping a squat. XYZ PDQ. It's a beautiful world to see, or it's a dismal in every zone. The thing it must be in its gloom or its gleam depends on yourself alone. XYZ PDQ. Written by Anonymous.